farm. And it's mid-February right now, 2021, which means we're in the midst of winter, and realistically, contrary to what most everyone across the country has been experiencing, we have not had much of a winter this year. But the last few days, we finally got a little bit of snow and a little bit of colder temperatures. So we wanted to take you around on a little tour and show you some of what we have going on wintertime on the farm. But it starts right here, which it's a nice day when it's cold out to be working in the nursery. We're starting some of our first trays of the season, and we have a few things that we started in the last month. Some are just kind of experimental crops, and a few are our early season crops for our CSA program. And that's what we have going here. You can see that we're set up. This is our first year using this nursery space. We have power to it, so we can heat it a little bit. We can run our heat mats and germination mats, and then we have a lot of space to be able to move crops around to cool areas and warm areas, sunny areas, a little bit shadier areas as the spring progresses. So working in the nursery today, but we're gonna sneak out, take you on a little tour and show you some of what we have going on in the farm winter 2021. All right, here we are outside, and behind me you can see a few things. One, you can see some of our livestock. This is the time of year where we actually have more livestock on the farm. We work with a rancher in the area and have his bulls here through the winter months. So they're here, and we're in the process of feeding them each day. And then we also have out there with them our small herd of yaks. The kids' horses are out there, and then also Dolly, our little home dairy cow, and her calf are out there enjoying some of the hay that we put out earlier in the day. But also behind me you can see a few of the caterpillar tunnels that we have. There's 4 of them out there across the field from us. Those are ones that we put in over there because we get a lot more sun, especially this time of year. In the mornings we get a lot more sun on that side of the valley as opposed to what we get over here by the house. And so those gardens are important for us early in the season especially. And those tunnels we ran the chickens through for about a month apiece throughout the late fall and early winter months. And now the chickens are out of them, and we've started bed prep in a few of them. Others already have some crops in, and we're gonna go show you some of those here in just a moment. But putting the chickens through allows them to stay warm and a little bit protected from the wind. And then also we get all of their fertility from the manure that they drop. And after a few months, we're able to shape the beds, and all of that manure gets kind of integrated into the bed and the soil. And we're hoping that adds a lot of fertility and really does good things for our crops this season. All right, here we are inside one of our tunnels, and this is a tunnel that already has some crops started in it. So the chickens ran through this one late in the fall, and then we were able to get them out, moved on to a new tunnel, and we shaped the beds, and we were able to get strawberries planted in here. And what you see behind me is kind of multiple layers of protection for the strawberries. So we transplanted them as bare root plants, and then we have straw mulch over the strawberries, and then also agribon, which is a landscape fabric that's very light. It's water and UV penetrable. And when you peek down here, what's really cool is even with some colder weather that we've been having, the strawberries are already starting to grow down here, and they're looking really awesome. And so the combination of the straw mulch, the fabric mulch, and then also being in a tunnel has protected them enough from the hard frosts that we've had. And we're really, really excited about this crop. It's a new crop for us this season. And in this tunnel alone, we have close to 1,000 plants planted. And so this season, we won't harvest a lot, but over the next 2, 3, 4 years, there's going to be a lot of produce coming out of this tunnel that we're really excited about. So we have things going on in the tunnels already, and what we're going to do now is go and show a little bit about what it looks like outside in some of the outdoor gardens and what it looks like in the orchard. And here behind me, what you see is our potager garden, which is a garden that's not covered at all in one of the shadiest spots on the property. So you can see that there's a little more snow cover on it, but we've spent much of this winter without any snow cover on anything, which is such a contrast to, for instance, last year when we had probably 2 foot of base in some of these areas. And so it's been a very dry and warm winter, which means that we've been able to get some projects done, but it also makes us a little bit concerned about just how much moisture the crops are getting and setting us up for potential drought this summer. But behind us, one thing that we've added to this area is there's a whole, you can kind of see the mounded area That's basically a mulch bed, and we've got a whole row of blueberries planted in there. Another fruit crop that is something new that we're excited for. This is not the best soil conditions and really the best climate for growing blueberries, so we did a lot of amending and are really trying to do a lot to acidify that soil so that the blueberries will hopefully be able to thrive in this area. And as we walk along here, Emily will walk along with me, and we'll just show you some of the trees in the orchard. Obviously they are dormant. A few of them we may get into pruning a little bit, but we did a lot of pruning last year, which means that this year it's not quite as necessary. There's little pruning that we need to do, but not large scale pruning. And that means that the trees are hopefully going to recover a little bit and be more productive this season. And of course, we'll have some work to do to keep the moose out come springtime and make sure that we don't lose any produce to the moose again this year. And back here in the corner of the orchard, we also have to visit our bees in winter. There's really not a whole lot that we do with the bees this time of year. They're basically hibernating. They're not sleeping necessarily, but they bunch up into a really tight ball in the middle of the hive, and that's a way that they're able to stay warm. The queen's usually kind of right in the middle being protected. And so it's a dormant time for the bees, but in mid-January, even early February, the weather temperature was so warm that we had a lot of bees out flying around, which was very unusual, but good to see because it showed that the hive was healthy and the bees were active even in their dormant season. And so we look forward to having them and seeing more of them as things start to flower. When we start getting into early spring, dandelions will be some of their very first opportunity to get nectar and the first nectar flow that they'll get. And then we'll start harvesting honey and getting into the hives and seeing kind of how they did through the winter and whether we want to split and create new colonies at all once we get into May and June and the weather warms up into the 60s, 70s consistently. All right, so there's our brief farm tour in the winter months. We have a lot more that we've been up to and that's been going on. We've totally built an entirely new brooder that we're really excited for. In the coming weeks, we'll already have our first round of chicks and baby poultry showing up. And we've obviously had puppies this winter, which has kept us and the kids quite busy. And we're really excited about some of the new things that we have going on. We looked at some of the fruit. We're adding a lot of fruit trees. We're also expanding our CSA this season with our signups opening up here in just the next few weeks. That's the way that we really appreciate being able to bring our produce and the food we're able to raise here on the farm to our community. And we're so thankful for those of you who have supported our CSA and been members last year. And we look forward to having you and many new members part of the farm in the coming summer. So thanks again. Hope you're doing well and stay warm.